dancing and dancing in the street. They're clapping down the coast with the desert up to feet. Old man is born in a tired dance. Workers, 6 stars, and a priest is the sky. And I said, oh no, oh no, oh no, no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no. And I said, oh no, oh no, oh no, no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no.
What's up, Bills Mafia? My name is Scott. Welcome to this episode of the K-Gun Report. We're coming at you live with a special guest today. We got a giveaway today. Pay close attention to the tracker below. We'll also explain to you what this giveaway is all about. And we got some training camp to talk about. Jared will be joining me, and you'll see the special guest once we get him going here. Leave comments during the show. It's a big-time show for that. See you in a minute. Here comes the intro.
Hey Bills Mafia, you're watching 24/7 Buff Fandemonium's The K-Gun Report, part of the Buffalo Fan Base Network and sponsored by 26 Shirts.
Bow, bow, bow. I love that little music. Welcome to 24/7 Buff Fandemonium's The K-Gun Report. It's another Tuesday. We are another week closer to football. And actually there's football at the end of this month on the 31st with a Hall of Fame game. So that's exciting. Without further ado, we have special guest joining us, former Buffalo Bills wide receiver, Brad Lamb, whose image froze right when I said his name, which is beautiful.
He's good, Scott.
He's good. Okay.
Yep.
So I'll keep it going at that. Brad, welcome to the show. I think this is your 3rd or 4th time coming on. We love to have you on. Tell the fans what you've been doing this summer.
Well, really been trying to get my son Xander all situated. He went into the portal, and obviously you guys know he ended up signing with Anderson University in South Carolina. And so I've been training him in the offseason a little bit, but he's been up there for the last 3 weeks. He's going to come home on Thursday, and then they'll officially start their training camp on Monday. So Angela and I are going to drive up there and spend the night, and they've got a parent meeting and all that on Monday to help us understand a little bit more about Anderson University there in South Carolina. And we're pretty excited about his future there. So looking forward to it.
Now I know with Anderson University, or with, where was he? South Carolina. South Carolina. You had to kind of have your hands off with the training because you were allowing that school down there to run things a little bit. The 49ers there. Now that you're transitioning to a new school, is it nice that you actually got to participate and help him out with some stuff this time around?
Yeah, it was. We got to have a little bit more quality time. Even when he was at UNCC, they,
Yep.
being right there, they always had his workouts and stuff ready for him to go. We still did a little bit on the side, just wasn't quite as intense or as much. So the fact that he was starting a whole new program and hadn't started there yet, it gave us a lot of time to spend together. And now he's going to be a few hours away, so I don't get to see him, as much as we used to. But that's going to be okay. I think he's going to have a great opportunity. He's where people want him.
Nice.
Very cool. I apologize for any of you guys that saw my weird look on my face. I could not hear or see Brad, but now that he's finally, I got you now. We're all good. I'm sorry I only got half the question, but I'm glad to know that Xander's on his way, and we'll all be rooting for him for
Go
sure.
back and rewatch the show. You'll see.
I will. Jared, thanks for joining us, Brad. I do want to throw this out there, guys. We always talk about the Rager coming up September 6th, 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. Also, we throw the regular season Rager again at Reinvention Brewing. We're actually sending this out to Mr. Brad tomorrow to have him sign. So this will be one of the items that we're giving away in the raffle for the Rager September 6th at Reinvention.
I want that jersey.
Oh, can't wait. I know that's going to be a hard one to give away. Jared, welcome to the show, my friend. Give a little bit for the people that are new to the show, a little bit of an insight of what 24/7 Buff Pandemonium and the K-Gun offer.
Okay, so tonight, if you leave a comment during a live show, blue and red, in reference to the blue and red practice that's happening Friday, if you leave the comment blue and red, that qualifies you for a drawing for that game, 2 tickets, club level seats, parking, right to that game. So blue and red, leave a comment like that, and you'll be in the drawing. We'll go through the show and pull the comments tonight, and we'll spin the wheel of destiny tomorrow for the winners, and then we'll give them out to you guys, whoever wins. Those tickets were given to us by Dr. Bruce. Awesome. He's gonna hopefully he jumps on tonight and gives us a little update on Harrison there. But no, it's an exciting time. Yeah, get that comment in and we'll give you tickets.
Again, we do this Pandemonium Wheel of Destiny tomorrow. We'll spin it. We'll let everyone know who won. Contact me. We'll get you in cahoots with Dr. Bruce so you guys can switch information around so the tickets can actually get to you. And like Jared said, it's wonderful seats, complimentary non-alcoholic beverages and snacks. You'll have access to everything. Parking is included. It's a beautiful thing, that blue and red game. It's fun to go watch for sure. We got comments coming in like crazy. Like Jared said, make sure you comment blue and red if you're interested in those tickets. Corey Blaine starts us off for the night from the Buffalo World Order. Let's go. Can't wait to hear from Mr. Lamb. Also had a great day at training camp today with Swank. Yeah, they went today. They snapped a bunch of pictures. They did not see Hairston go down, so that'll be something interesting to talk about here. Josh Cook says, "What's up, everybody?"
Everybody.
Circling the Wagons podcast, another podcast in the Buff fan base group. I'd be remiss to mention that we are part of the Buff Fan Base Network. They're doing great things over there on X and Twitter. A lot of followers. Join them up. That's the original Bills Mafia, and we are sponsored by 26 Shirts. They just recently had an amazing event in MafiaCon 2025, raised a ton of money for Western New York families, the Western New York Heroes and Punt, which is a pediatric cancer charity. So they did great things there, and we are more than happy to be sponsored by them for sure.
They just hit the $2.2 million sales. So
that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. Ellen Lart says training camp coverage from NFL Network has been really good. Let's go Bills. I am looking forward to Hard Knocks for sure. Doug Augie, what's up, everyone? Tuesday, time to chop it up with the boys and Brad Lamb. Getting some love there, Brad.
Yeah, I love it.
Patrick Hughes, what's up, Mafia? Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, a true icon. Man, oh man, it was a rough week. There's the Bruce. Dr. Bruce McKellar. He says, "Go Bills." Thanks again, Dr. Bruce, for those blue and red practice tickets.
Brad, did you watch wrestling? Were you a wrestler?
Oh, I was a big Hulk. Yeah, Hulk Hogan was the man. I hated to see that. You know, he was definitely an icon.
Oh yeah, I know. I was surprised. I didn't know any of that stuff was going down, and then when I saw that happen, I was like, "Wow, big time surprise!" Definitely, was a shock to the wrestling world for sure. And I didn't realize how much he had done for wrestling. Crazy.
Yeah. He opened it up for him. That's for sure.
Ellen Lart says, "Hello, Brad. Hope Xander's doing well."
Thank you. He's doing great. I appreciate it.
Bills Meyer says, "Go Bills." Thanks, Ellen, for that question. Yeah, we can't wait to see Brad tear up the field this year. Patrick Hughes says blue and red. He is entered. Jared, Mary J. Brown Hughes says blue and red. Everybody that says blue and red will be entered for that blue and red practice tickets for sure. This is Sparta. Stupid hotel Wi-Fi. What's up, boys? Our friend Buffalo Spartan, one of the super fans, one of our OGs here. Mafia, mount up.
Now that we got an FLX Mafia page on Instagram, I'm able to get on here and see the comments that are coming in. So welcome to Instagram world.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Brad, did you receive shirts from us by any chance?
Did I get what? I'm sorry.
24/7 Buff Pandemonium shirts and Finger Lakes Mafia shirts?
I did not.
Oh, interesting, Jared. Okay.
To check the address.
Yeah.
But I would definitely sport it. I can tell you that.
There you go. There you go. We'll get your size later on. Danielle Marie from Facebook. What's up, Danielle? Blue and red.
There you go.
Thanks for joining. That's a new name. Corey Blaine says, me and Swank didn't even notice it. It was so wild. He's talking about the Hairston injury. I did want to go back up to Bruce McKellar, Dr. Bruce's comment here. He is a medical doctor in his real life. He's not just a Bills fan season ticket holder. He says Hairston knee injury is concerning. The video seemed to show some laxity in his right knee. I believe it was non-contact and would be concerning for a ligament injury, although he was able to walk off. Maybe not as bad as it looks. Oh, geez. I tell you. It's always something, isn't it?
So my 2 cents with that, there's lots of videos out there of the trainer examining his knee, and he does have a little bit of movement when they're doing pulling the tib fib away from the kneecap. But I also noticed that the trainer was palpating the front of his knee, and then he stops and he looks up at Hairston like he found the tendon. So what we're hoping for is that his finger that he was resting on the front of his knee was on that tendon, which means it's still intact. And I think what the news is going to be, I'm hoping that it's going to be, it's a bad strain of that ACL, and that he's just going to be off a couple weeks. But he had his thumb on there for a good 10 seconds. So to me, if that's a spot where it's torn, as a trainer, you're not going to want to put pressure on that because it might hurt. The fact that he's pushing on it and keeping it there indicated to me that there's something there that I was feeling like the ACL. So hopefully I'm right.
Brad, you ever deal with knee injuries?
I didn't have anything that, I mean, I had some cartilage. That actually is what caused when I retired, was because of that in my knee. It just, the way the knee tracks on the bone there was no cartilage and the bone was just rubbing on bone. So they shaved it down. That was back before, now they can even grow cartilage. Back then they were just starting to play around with that a little bit. So I didn't have the ability to have that done and ended up retiring.
Just doesn't seem fair, does it?
No.
Modern medicine has changed so much. Yeah, they pop the whole kneecap open, put a whole new pad in there. It's ready to go the next week. It's crazy. Doug Augie says blue and red. Buffalo Spartan says blue and red. Corey Blaine says those D linemen were rocking, though. We were definitely hitting, like McDermott talked about. Very cool. Very cool. Training camp. Obviously, it's been going on now for a little over a week. Pads went on this week, which is always kind of the difference maker. I always say these guys look flashy. They're fast. They're speedy. The more athletic agility guys look sharp during just helmet time. Once the pads come on, it's a different story. Brad, I want to run through, because now with the likings of Hard Knocks, and obviously we Embedded, just the last one just came out last week or 2 weeks ago. But we get this insight of what camps look like. We're able to go to camp and watch it all happen. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience when in the 90s? First of all, it was still in Orchard Park, but was it in Orchard Park or was it the other college there that you guys went to for training camp?
Fredonia.
No, it was down there. What is that? Not Fisher, but
Fredonia.
Fredonia, down in Fredonia.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we went. And then we had one open practice up at Buffalo University of Buffalo there. One day camp, but most of it was all down there at Fredonia.
And so did camps last that long? Tell us a little bit about your camp experience there. I heard a lot between first year is nerve-wracking, and then obviously the years after that become more comfortable. How was your first year at camp?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Your first year, man, especially, coming in as a late round pick, knowing, what to do, leaving away from home for the first time all the way in New York from Ohio, trying to get to know people and understand, the level and the game that you're in. Moving into a dorm room, I didn't know any better. Jim Kelly's bringing his TV and his refrigerator, and, he's bringing everything, luxuries of home, his own bed and everything else to, his room. And I'm still sleeping on a cot in there, so yeah, that first year is just a learning experience. A lot of hard work. I remember, going out, first day we were in pads, I had all the pads on you could possibly imagine: knee pads, full thigh pads, hip pads, butt pads. I mean, I looked like the Marshmallow Man coming out, I think. And after that first morning practice, that all ended. No pads in the thigh pads, nothing in the knee pads, no hip pads. Because every you needed every ounce of speed you could possibly get, and
Mhm.
every advantage that you could take is what you had to do. And the I was, come from a small school as well, and so taking care of my body, I wasn't accustomed to some of those things. So, I remember going back to my dorm after the first couple of days of full pads and, losing a lot of body fluid and all that, and my back just spasming, and I couldn't even hardly get comfortable where my back was just ache, just because I wasn't taking in fluids and all that.
Mhm.
So, a lot of learning experiences. Um, a lot of ice baths when we were in training camp. We didn't have the ice tubs there. So they filled up those 55-gallon black trash cans, and they might have had 30, 40 of those inside full of ice all the way to the brim. And you just go in there and you jump in that daggone trash can for your ice bath to
Mhm.
refresh your legs. And that got to be my favorite friend during training camp.
And you also made sure you were the first one to get in it, right? You didn't want to be the
That
second or third.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But as a rookie, you also, if somebody said I need that, you got right out too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So was there an understanding that making it to the NFL and that you did not have to wear the pads that you didn't want to? What's mandatory in the NFL? I believe it's just helmet and shoulder pads, correct?
Yeah, well, in game time, you had to have knee pads and thigh pads, but they didn't say what you had to have. So we would cut the plastic out of the thigh
Oh,
pads and just put the little slim piece of plastic in for our thighs, and then we would take the knee pad and cut like a quarter to a 50-cent piece out, round piece out, and we'd stick that in there for our knee pads. And you didn't have to have hip pad. They never did say anything about hip pads, butt pads.
right.
Um, and not to be in a bad sense here, but man, I wore a cup my whole all the way up through college. But when I got there, that was a no. So that went.
Is it a no
So
because someone said something?
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
What the hell is he wearing?
What are you doing?
Hey, look at
There's a lot, a
Lamb's
lot
got a
of a
cup.
lot of learning going on your first year. I can promise you.
We don't wear
It's
these up
not all
here.
about football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Jared, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going. I got another one to follow up with the whole Jim Kelly coming in. These guys nowadays, Madden's been out a while, so they'd bring their TVs and they'd get Madden tournaments going in between practices and all that stuff. Obviously, in Rochester area where the camps are now, there's a lot of restaurants and a lot of things to do. In Fredonia, back in the 90s, what did you guys do after practice to kind of come together? I know mandatory summer is a way to get to know each other, and then training camp is business. But you guys still had to get together after training camp practices. How did you guys do it back in the day?
Well, my first year, I'll be honest with you, man. I just went straight back to my room and I studied and tried to get rest. I was wore out. Veterans, a lot of them, like Jim and Frank and Gail Gilbert and some of the guys, BB, some of those guys, they would go golfing, man. If they had an hour or two, man, they'd go hit the local, golf course and go hit up, But my first year, man, I was studying, trying to learn my playbook and trying to understand what I had to do coming to practice and having my legs under me and scared to death, of trying to make the team. So I was afraid to leave campus, man. I was
Mhm.
I was there, and that's that first year. That's pretty much all I did.
Okay, good, good.
And by no means these questions, I'm not saying you guys were allowed to smoke and drink on the sidelines and there was no water and all that stuff. You're not, when I say back then, I only mean the 90s, guys. I'm not meaning
Yeah,
back when.
yeah. We weren't smoking and drinking on the sidelines. I can promise you that.
Yeah, right. Uh, Lori says, "Hey man, Eli and I say hi. Hello, Brad. Welcome, Brad. Eli is actually part of our. He does our pregame predictions, and so he can't wait to get him back started into it." Chris Christian says, "Hey, what's up, Chris?
Hey.
Bills Mafia. There was just a BJ's. Was there BJ's back in the 90s?
Yeah. I think that's when it first came along.
Oh, okay. There you
You talking about the grocery store?
go. Yeah.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I still got my BJ's card because back then, if you're a Buffalo Bill, they gave you a lifetime membership.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I still have it.
There you go. There you go. Yes, guys, those of you who are leaving messages, remember to type in blue and red. You will be entered to win tickets to this practice this Friday.
Only
Dr.
if you
Bruce
can
has
use
been
the tickets, though.
Yeah, yeah. Message it if you can use the tickets. We'll spin the Fandemonium Wheel of Destiny tomorrow, find a winner, and then obviously we'll get in contact with you guys in regards to sharing that out for sure. All right, here we go. We got the training camp. There's a bunch of information. Obviously, we have had the show off for a week now, so we've missed out on a bunch of the conversations. Cook is participating. That's always been a big topic. Keon Coleman is looking great. He's creating separation. He's catching deep balls. I know he's worked hard in the off season. Jared, what's your take on so far what you've heard with Keon? Bigger, stronger, all that good stuff. But Pads Ron, he's still doing it. What's your take on what you're hearing from him in camp?
No, he's winning the one-on-ones. I saw him today in some film catching some punts. I think Tyrell Shavers got injured, so I think the wide receiver room's getting a little scarce. So everyone's out there receiving punts so they could practice that a little bit. Hey, if you become a utility knife, right, you're going to be apt to be out there more. So no, Keon Coleman. Last year they have high hopes for this guy, not only for the stuff he can do on the field, but the cognitive part about it. He's football smart. That's why even though he was injured for some of the year last year, he was still out on the field more than any other receiver on that Bills squad. So high hopes for him. He had a rough day one apparently, but he's stacked up a couple good camps as of late. I'm one that sits back, and I know you see all these footages from different camps all around the league, and you want to celebrate the good things that you're seeing. But ultimately, that never matters until what you see on the football field when they're playing against a different team. So I'm glad he's getting the reps in. Every rep counts. You got to fine tune and everything. But when the speed changes a little bit more for that game time than it is at practice, then that's when you see the true colors come out. And I'm confident in Keon.
Brad, what's your take on Keon? It's year 2 for him. Obviously, we're hoping for bigger and better. I don't honestly think he did that bad of a job considering he's injured a bunch of games last year and it was his rookie season. What's your expectations and what's your take on what we've heard from him in camp so far?
Well, I'm pretty excited from what I'm hearing. If he can take that leap from that first year to the second year, like he needs to, I think he's going to be pretty dynamic for him for Allen this year and give him a nice big tall, maybe even deep threat separation guy to get the ball to. So I'm hoping, part of that injury, and I think a lot of people did forget that he was injured, but he was still out on the field. So he played through a lot. So he showed his toughness in that regard as well. So, I like him. I'm hoping he turns it up this year and he takes that leap. Like he needs to and like we expect, and I think that's gonna happen.
I mean, I agree. I think he's going to be someone that knows that he has to take advantage of these opportunities. We all know that the Buffalo Bills, via free agency, even Caden Prather in the draft, they brought in a lot of new faces for this team in 2025. So, and Keon's got to understand that Josh Allen's going to have to target them quite a bit in practice to get that rapport. So I think for what I've seen so far personally, I'm liking what I've seen. He's going up, getting the ball. I saw him dust Trey White in one of the 7-on-7s, and Trey White was not very happy about it. But I'm liking where he's headed. Again, I think he's got a pretty good platform to go off from what he did last year, especially if he's healthy. It'd just be interesting to see how much they can get together and go over those reps to become pretty fluid. Brad, I got a question for you regarding that. I know these guys get together in off season. They go to Florida, they travel together, they work out together. Obviously after your first year in training camp, the next year you came back. What was your off season like as far as like training? Did you train with other receivers? Did you get with Reed, Lofton, and BB? Oh my God.
No,
that's
I think
but
yeah,
what did you do?
Lofton and Reed were in California, I believe, quite a bit. So I did not hop on a plane and fly out there. I loved our strength conditioning training guy that was there in Buffalo, and so I stayed right in Buffalo year round and didn't leave. And so I trained right there with the program that they had for us. So I did not get out, I look back on it some now, and I wish I probably had to even build a closer relationship, bigger rapport with the guys. But when you're again, even at 3 years, it's still you're still fresh,
Mhm.
and you're still trying to make yourself known, if you know what I mean there. And so I basically stuck right there in Orchard Park and worked out year round.
There you go. There you go. Jared, follow up question to that. With these new faces that the Bills have brought in, and just to name a few: Palmer, Moore, Caden Prather, Chenault. Do you think? And then Brad, I'll have you follow up. Do you think? I know Allen only came in for 2 quarters, I believe, last preseason. But do you think with bringing in new wide receivers, is there enough time in mandatories and training to get that rapport, or do you think we'll see Josh Allen and some of these guys out more than what we would have in the past?
I think that you'll not see Josh Allen out there more than the past due to the fact that it's Josh Allen. You can't have your guy, your big guy, the MVP out there running around in preseason games more than he usually does, just to increase the rapport with the new receivers coming in. These guys are professionals. They're putting their work in now in camp. And when game day comes, if they happen to make the roster, then it's time for them to get open, be where they need to be, because Allen will be putting the ball there. So Allen's fine where he's at. I know building a relationship with some of these new guys coming in is important, but they should be doing it now in camp and keep Allen off the field until week 1.
There you go. Brad, did you ever notice that Kelly or Reich were in there a lot more when there were new wide receivers in there as far as preseason goes? I know preseason was done a little different back then with 4 games. But do you believe that mandatories and training camp develops enough of a rapport?
I think when I was there, the nice thing that especially Jim had was he had his core receivers every year. So it wasn't like there was a lot of new receivers coming in. We only kept, I think at times 5, at the most 6 on game day that was even there. And you had Lofton, Reed, and BB out on the field all the time, and they got as many reps as they needed in camp and in practice. And then myself, Al Edwards, would relieve those guys when they need it. And of course, Tasker, that was kind of the six guys, on game day. But I think what's going to happen is if Jim talking about Jim, if Josh feels like he needs more rapport, instead of them probably taking it out and having a chance of injuries in one of these preseason games, it'll probably be after hour work. I mean, if he sees one of these guys really being a player on game days, and that's really what you got. He needs to build a rapport with whoever's going to be out there on game day.
Yep.
Not slighting anybody else. I'm the same way. I mean, I was the backup, so I wasn't getting I wasn't the main guy that had to make sure my rapport was spot on. Even though you want to be obviously at your best, but if he sees one of these guys like Palmer and them that's going to step in here and more, there'll be a lot more probably in training camp. But I bet they've probably even gotten together before training camp, or especially after, or an hour after practice even. And I think Allen's the kind of guy that would put that kind of time in to make sure his offense was at its best.
Oh yeah, I think that I love that take. I believe that wholeheartedly. If there was something that Josh felt that wasn't going on correctly, you for sure would stay longer after practice, or get in the ear of that wide receiver and back and forth. That's definitely something I would definitely expect, and I hope that would happen.
Yeah, especially if if he's really plugging away and has a chance to make the team. These players know it. The quarterback knows if they're talking, this guy has a chance. Okay, he's got a chance. I'm going to get an extra 30 balls to him after practice today. I can definitely see that. Yeah, if you're definitely going to make the team, we need to get something going here. Yeah.
Well, the rapport, it's the bad thing about it is it's just not, okay, you got a 12-yard in. Obviously, you go your 12 yards, you got your end cut, and you're supposed to be between the numbers and the hash, but everybody's got different speeds. Everybody comes out of the breaks quicker and slower than others. So the rapport comes with the timing with that. Okay, Josh has to hold it that extra split second, half of a second, or does he go ahead and let it go because he knows the guy coming out of the break's going to be there when the ball, he lets the ball loose early. So that's the kind of timing issue, he's got to have with the guys. And that does take time. And that's why I think it's got to be the guys that are going to be playing on Sunday that's got to have those reps.
Makes sense.
Right. And to throw in there the mix of they're playing bump and run or something like that, then that adds to the pattern length as that is. So yeah, there's a lot of practice in that is involved for sure. And
Well,
that's
apparently Palmer's been in Josh Allen's hip pocket. So if Allen's trying to get to his guys,
smart man.
Exactly. If Palmer knows, hey, I want to make this team, I'm going to pick Allen's brain as much as I can, and the other guys too. So
and do whatever he wants me to do.
Yeah. What do you want to do on that out route? No, you tell me what you want me to do on that out route.
You want me to cut it a yard short or what?
Well, you receivers, you practice out routes, in routes, slants, all these patterns. You practice it all different kinds of ways. Am I getting bumped this one? Do I have to do a move at the line of scrimmage? Do I have to do it a yard shorter, yard longer? What kind of zone are they playing? So you guys know the adjustments you got to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's and part of the whole process is, when you come into the league is for me, when they talk about the mental part of the game is, and I think I've said this on the show before, but you might get up to the line and, Jim had something called and the coverage is something different than we were expecting. Well, now my route changes depending on that coverage. Right. Well, if there's, 6, 7 different types of coverages, I might have 3 different routes to run on that particular play, depending on what that coverage might be. And then the type of route, is it a speed out or is it a square out? Is it, an 18-yard comeback or is it a 15-yard comeback? I mean, so all those things, it's like I told my son, I said, you can't play at your optimal or at your best if you're always trying to think about what you have to do on a play. You got to know it. So as soon as you walk up to that line, you see that defense, even if they're changed at the last second, when they do, you got to know right then without a shadow of a doubt what you're doing. If not, you're going to hesitate. That's when the interceptions come. That's when, you see the timing off is because somebody either didn't read the coverage right or somebody was confused or maybe they just weren't on it fast enough. And so they hesitated just that split second. And that just throws everything out of whack.
Yep. Yeah, guys, for those of you watching, I've never played the position, but can you understand getting to the line of scrimmage? You got to read route. Jared, can you imagine this? 2 steps into your route, thinking they're in a man. All of a sudden, the guy keeps dropping back into a zone. You got to do something else right on the fly and hope that not only you run the right pattern, but your quarterback is reading the same thing and he puts the ball in that same. It's more than just running patterns, isn't it, Brad?
Yeah, and just an example of something that was simple, the easiest one to do. Let's just say you get up the line, you're expecting a zone coverage, so you're running a 3-step hitch. Well, then all of a sudden they come up to bump.
Yeah.
Well, then that converts to me to a 9 route.
Yeah.
So I got to know when they come up. Now, if they come up and then as soon as the ball snaps, they fly out back into zone again. Well, then now my hitch stays on.
Right.
Yep.
You got to make that decision like that.
Yeah, it's just, and that's why you'll see it occasional when them balls will fly out of the quarterback's hand and land in an open space and nobody there.
Yep.
Well, he read it one way, the receiver read it another way.
Yeah,
more than likely the quarterback was right.
Yeah,
yes.
That plenty of times the wide receiver runs a hitch and he's like that, and the ball just goes right over. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's hit up these comments again, guys. Corey Blaine says Milano looks like a beast. He had a great interception today. I saw that. That was something amazing to watch. Brad, I'll go off this Milano conversation. Will this be the year that we see a healthy Milano and a healthy Bernard potentially be the best tandem linebacker in the league?
I would like to hope and think so, yes. I've been hearing a lot about Matt Milano looking like his former self so far in camp, which is very exciting to me because I think he's that linchpin, especially in that run game. He just seems to have a nose for the football and knows where to be. And Bernard's the same way. If we can keep them two on the field, my gosh. It's gonna be a fun year to watch that defense, and with the defensive linemen we got rushers. I mean, they spent a lot of money and a lot of time on getting our defense right, And, hopefully Harrison, he's fine, if he's out for a few weeks and gets back, it helps us with that man coverage, if we need to do that with some of these speedy receivers with Kansas City and all that, that really matches, we can match up with them well there. I'm pretty excited. And I'll tell you what, the other person that I've been hearing a lot about too, and I'm let me pronounce it, Andreessen, is that right? The backup linebacker that they say right now has a good chance of being behind Bernard.
Yep.
And if he can take a leap like Shakir did after his first year to his second year, that kid's going to be something else.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Andreessen was the walk-on from Buffalo last year.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys making a name for himself, and he's familiar with the system. He's got a second year going. He has every advantage that anyone else has being in the system for a while. So we're actually, he's a home hopeful here for us Bills fans here, and so we're rooting for him for sure.
That's
So-
awesome.
If you go back to last week's tape, I suggested that hopefully I would like to see Dorian Williams take that next step and be the starting outside linebacker Milano's spot, because I know he's up and coming and Milano suffered injuries and all that stuff. But after watching this week of practice, it's kind of like you say it in hopes that you're proven wrong a little bit, especially with a guy like Matt Milano, right? Dorian Williams is an up and coming star, number 42 for the Buffalo Bills, and he's doing great things. Milano's aging and coming off an injury, but if he's coming back and playing like he used to, sorry, Dorian, I got to stick with Matt Milano to get in there. You guys fight it out. Whoever shows up on Sunday, I'm going to be after. But I'm glad it's a problem that we have that Dorian Williams and Matt Milano are going after it.
Well,
Jared,
think about it. You don't lose nothing if Matt does go down, or if he needs a break. You put
Right.
you put Dorian in there, and man, we don't miss a beat.
Well, I'm going to advocate for Jared, and it's for the rest of the panel that believe that Mr. Dorian Williams would be the starter. We also had off-camera discussions based on if Milano was healthy and wasn't hurting, and he took that year off his contract because he was feeling a certain kind of way. If he's coming back to camp, ripping and roaring and looking like old Matt Milano fashion, of course we're going to back him and push for him to have a successful season for sure.
Can we say that for Trey White too? Because I know Maxwell went down with an injury today, but apparently that wasn't a lock for him at CB number 2. Trey White has had a whole off season of training without recovering from an injury, and he's only 30, and they say he's coming into another system that he's used to, but he's playing lockdown too. So if these older guys can come in and put a hell of a last season together for a run here, man, wouldn't that be a nice story?
Well, nice segue, Jared. I was just going to bring up the Hairston injury. Chris Christian's asking, how is Hairston looking so far? I don't think there's any definite answer out yet. I believe that the process goes, if there is any ligament or tissue issues, sometimes it could take a little while before an MRI is conclusive due to the fact that there's swelling and all that stuff. Am I accurate with that statement, Jared?
Yeah, sometimes the swelling, you have to wait for the swelling to go down, but they're able to. The test that you saw them do on him is a good indicator whether or not the ACL is attached or not. What you're not looking for what kind of movement there is. You're looking for the movement of the tendon over the knee, and if there isn't even the tendon over there. So like I said, I saw the trainer keep his thumb on a certain spot and look up at Hairston almost to say there is connection here, so we're good. It might be a bad strain, but I'm not a doctor. That's what I'm just hoping for. So they'll be able to tell right away if they can get in there before the swelling happens. The fact that he got up and walked too indicates to me that it might not be as bad as we think. Usually with those injuries, you want a cart out there. So we'll see.
There you go. And I asked Jared this stuff, guys. He is a licensed massage therapist, so he deals with muscles and tendons and all that stuff all the time. Brad, if you're ever up here in New York, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
Jared will hook you up.
Well, I appreciate that. You might break this old man in half.
Renee Tilburg says Keon looked good yesterday. She's a winner of past raffles and giveaways. Welcome, Renee. Rob Crippen, what's up from the Nickel City crew? Also a podcast, part of the Buff Fan Base Network. What's up, Rob? They reposted the stream. Thank you, guys.
Sure.
Hey, guys, we grow organically here at 24/7 Buff Pandemonium and through the K-Gun Report. So we don't go out and do that whole money buying for more viewers. We depend on you guys, the people that watch, the people that tag, share, like, and subscribe. And you guys are doing a kick butt job. We're up over 1,000 right now. Beautiful thing.
And we also don't make you pay to leave a comment either.
Yeah, right. We like to get them all on there. Ellen Lart said Brad and Phil Hansen were partners in crime. We're like brothers. Ellen also mentioned earlier that she met you 30 years ago at Fredonia Good old Ellen Lartz.
Were you and Phil close?
We were. We actually roomed together
Oh,
quite a bit. So yeah, he was. Him and I got along real well. We palled around quite a bit. Came in the same year. I think the world of Phil, man. What a great guy. What a great player and a teammate.
Very underrated.
Now,
Yeah.
how does an
Yeah.
offensive player and a defensive player end up rooming together?
Well, I don't know. But you know, we did it, and it wasn't all the time, but it was occasion. We would if we could, just because
Yeah, right.
we were good friends and we got along well, and you know, kind of had a lot of commonality and stuff like that. So we shared we were being roommates several times.
And I'm sure being grown men in an adult world, if you wanted to room with someone, they wouldn't be like, "No, sir, that's not the right dorm. You shouldn't be in there with a wide receiver."
Yeah.
Scott, can you
Dan-
go back to what Patrick just said? Because I know Mr. Marv Levy turns 100 years old August 3rd coming up. Patrick wants to know, Mr. Lamb, with Marv's 100th birthday Sunday, what is your top Coach Marv Levy story?
Oh my gosh, man! There's I don't even know if it's a story because all I remember a lot of times at halftime is Marv would talk to us, and a lot of times we'd all look at each other. What did he just mean by all that? We didn't have a clue what he was talking about. But he's so intelligent, you know. Marv is such a smart guy. Um, you know, I would let me just put it this way. I think Marv it's not even a football thing. It's even outside of football. He genuinely cared about his players
Mhm.
on and off the field. If you were having issues off the field, he was going to be right there to go to bat for you and help you in any way he possibly could. So to me, that shows the true character of a person. It's not, what have you done for me lately? It's, you know, if you're having a hard time, and you don't ask for it, but you get a call from Marv Levy or you get a letter from Marv saying, "Hey man, just checking on you. Want to make sure you're doing okay."
Yeah.
I mean, even now, he sent me his book that he wrote. Um, let's see, that's probably been 10, 15 years ago now when he wrote the book. But just out of the blue, he wrote me, he said, "Hey Brad," and he wrote inside of it, "Just wanted to let you know, thinking about you. Hope you're doing well." You know, just stuff like that you know, a lot of people don't know. That was Marv. That was Coach Levy. He just a genuine good person and great coach.
Yep.
Somebody you wanted to play for.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've heard stories of like he won't see you for 25 years, and then when he sees you, he'll, "Hey, how are you doing? He knows your kids' names, he knows his wife's names, he doesn't forget." Like you say,
He came down here to Charlotte. We have a thing called the Touchdown Club down here that they award, you know, at the end of the year, the Nagurski, you know, Bronco Nagurski Defensive Player of the Year College Award. And I used to go to that quite a bit. I go to it occasionally now, but he came and spoke one time, and I'd been out of the league, I don't know, probably close to 10 years at that point. And he came in, he'd come walking in, and I was there, and I went walking by and walked up. He said, "Hey, Brad, how you doing?" You know, just calm and all, you know, hey, here we go.
Yeah.
And, you know, just great man.
It's so cool.
Oh, yeah, that's the consensus. No matter who you talk to, it's always the same, and that the consistency is the biggest truth.
And
And
he was.
I would love to meet Mr. Marv Levy for sure. Got a lot of people commenting blue and red. For those of you who are watching and you haven't commented yet and you want to go to the blue and red practice this Friday, August 1st, hit us up in the comments, type blue and red. You will be entered for a chance to win these tickets, club tickets, parking. You also have access to non-alcoholic beverages and food. It's a beautiful, beautiful situation to be in. It's not an actual seat you're sitting in. It's first come, first serve. It's kind of like they're just filling the area with the people that have that spot. So, yeah, blue and red, type it in the comments. We'll get you on that list. We'll spin that Phantomonium Wheel of Destiny tomorrow to find out who the winner is. And we'll hook you up with Dr. Bruce, the man generously enough to give us those tickets for Friday, and we'll get you all settled, ready to go. But you guys are kicking butt already in the comments today, over 1K. And I usually don't like mentioning the comments, but you guys are rocking it.
Boom.
A lot of comments on Hairston. I'm glad, Jared, you had the segue going into that, because the conversation I want to talk about now is Trey White's appearance in camp. So far, looks young, knows the system. Obviously, that's advantage. Check already. But he's coming off a year off where he doesn't have to worry about that knee injury. I know Hairston might be injured. Who knows for how long? Would you be okay, both of you guys? I'll start with Brad. Would you be okay with Trey White starting and potentially holding down the fort until either Hairston's back and ready to go this year, or do you have the faith in the longevity of the season being 30 years old? What's your takes on Trey White so far?
I've not got to see a whole lot of him in training camp. The only thing I remember last year watching him play, it felt like he had just lost a step, and that again, coming back from a year from an injury and, trying to get himself back in, I'm hoping that that's a total full recovery now, that this year he gets that back. And I hear he's looking pretty decent in camp, but I've not got to see a whole lot, not really talked to anybody about him in particularly on how he's doing. But I like him. I hope he is 100% and doing well. And if he is, I got no problem with him being out there.
Yeah.
Yep. What's your go on that there, brother?
Yeah, first of all, he's coming back to a team that he's familiar with. A lot of players on the team that have been there for the last 5-6 years know who he is. Unk, they call him, right? Unk Trey White. But he's coming into a system. If we have a 30-year-old Trey White playing CB number 2 and his knees holding up and he's healthy, I think that's good. Because, Brad, you said he lost a step, and I know sometimes when you're coming off an injury that season, back after an injury, there is still that hesitation. But they're saying that he's looking like he had an offseason without recovery from that injury. So he's like full go now. So hopefully, from what I'm hearing, like you said, you didn't see much. I haven't seen much either, just a little bit here and there. But from what you're hearing is hopefully if he's really improved that much and he's playing like he's got something to prove, like come back, then a healthy Trey White is a good Trey White in my book.
I think you're right. And, and sometimes on those injuries, they don't even realize it themselves, but subconsciously you're still favoring that just a little bit. Mm-hmm. It just takes time sometimes for people. And when he got injured, I mean, it was pretty traumatic to him. Mm-hmm. So I think he had to deal with a lot of it mentally on his own. And hopefully this time now that, that's gone, there's no fear of that happening again, and he can just go out there and play ball.
Yep, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, obviously, we're hoping the best for Hairston. Obviously, perfect scenario wouldn't have Trey White being our CB number 2, but with everything you guys said, he may have lost a step, yes, but the cerebral part of the game sometimes can take over that lost step, which is something that can be adjusted and work well for us. My concern is only the longevity part. If Maxwell Hairston's out for a long period of time, how long will Trey White have to hold it down? And that's a long season. It's a long season, and we have an early bye, so it'll be interesting to see how that all works out.
He'll be fine.
From X, Tano the Texan. Hello, fellows. How are y'all doing tonight? It's hot and humid here in Houston, Texas, but I hear it's been almost as hot in Western New York. Yeah,
90 degrees.
90 degrees. I'm at the point now where I'm not mowing my grass. The weeds are higher than the grass is, and it's like, do I cut it? Do I cut it? Jared, you didn't mention anything about your grass yet today.
No, it's been really good the last month, so I'm just gonna keep it at that.
All right, the Westfall Brothers family is definitely hitting up the comments. Jared, there
we go.
Donald, what's up, guys? Thanks for joining. By the way, guys, don't just join in to leave the comments to get those tickets. This is a fan first perspective show. We love to hear your comments, regardless of whether or not it's a giveaway show. We love to bring them up. Everyone's voice is heard here at 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. Renee says Hard Knocks crew was in the stands, got shots of our friends and family yesterday. Tons of fun. Did they have anything like that back in the day? I keep saying that, Brad, and I apologize. But did they have any kind of show or any kind of crew NFL films there back in the 90s?
No, I don't remember anything like that when I was playing. So I'll tell my age a little bit there, huh? Jeez, I'm sitting here thinking that's going on, what, 30-something years now?
Holy cow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey.
So they didn't even have that. Well, maybe they did. Just started having cell phones.
Right. Paulette Brown, the lovely Paulette, one of our OGs, says, "Hi, good evening, my Mafia family. It's hot tonight."
Yes.
Welcome to the show, Paulette. Paulette, I don't know if you saw, we have availability of potentially winning tickets to the blue and red game. So yeah, we are at what time? We got 9:20. We got 10 minutes of the show left. We've talked a little bit about training camp, but now it's more stories that happen Buffalo related that I am interested in your take, Jared, as well as Brad's, obviously.
You want to do some trivia quick? Get that out of the way.
Yes, Jared does. Jared does Who's the Man. It's actually on my first thing to do, Jared. We just went over it. Jared does Who's the Man every week. It's one of those situations, guys, where the 24/7 Buff Pandemonium, we don't care if you like the Buffalo Bills because you know everything about them or you just like the colors. We welcome you to our page, but we also like to educate a little bit, teach you guys some information. Jared does Who Am I? Who's the Man? Jared throws out a lot of trivia on our content pages. And Jared, go ahead and fire away with your question today. I love your little twist on it, but tell the people.
Well, hopefully Brad can help me out with this. So the Who Am I for this week, the trivia was he was drafted in the NFL by the Buffalo Bills in 1991, being the first Anderson University Raven to be drafted in the NFL. Was a two-time, oh my gosh, what was it? Two-time second team All-American player and a two-time All-Conference player, but also won the conference MVP. Who is it?
There you go. You remember that all from heart, huh?
Yep. Brad, do you know who it was?
Man, I'm going to have to scratch my head on this one a little bit. You
Don't
guys,
scratch too hard. Don't scratch too hard.
I think I came out in 91, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. Yeah, I had to put that twist in there a little bit because Brad was coming on. But yeah, Anderson University Raven. He was the second team All-American and two-time conference player and MVP. So there he is, Buffalo Bills receiver.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome, Brad.
A long time ago. Thank you. Thank you. Forever a Bill, man. Forever a Bill.
And when we got on earlier, sometimes the stuff you look up online and you're going back and forth trying to find facts and stuff. And sometimes I've been plugged on a game that I have is Who's the Man. I said Cornelius Bennett was a two-time All-Pro, and then he got on and said something like, no, it's three times. And I had to go back. I was like, oh crap, where I got my information was wrong. So before we got on tonight, I was like, Brad, was all that stuff that I said correct? I was like, yes, it was. I was like, okay.
Well, any stat page, and this is for anybody out there looking up stats, every page has something different.
Yep.
And if you're lucky enough to have one of the players you're talking about watch or tune in every once in a while, don't just be humbled when they tell you the stat was wrong, because obviously
I was.
Yeah, that's just the way it is, and take it as it is for sure.
Well, there's a lot of them out there also says I was only in Buffalo from 91 to 92. So,
yeah.
93, wasn't it?
So,
that.
Yeah, 92, 91, 92, 93. Yep.
There you go.
And then we had Butch Roll on many years ago, and he was known as Mr. Touchdown. And there's 5 different numbers out there of what the actual consecutive reception per touchdown was. And I think Butch said it was actually 11, but if you look it up, a lot of places say like 8 or 9. And Butch is like, no, it's 11. I players know their own stats. I remember all those catches and stuff. He remembers Frank Reich was who ruined it when he threw an out pattern to him. He's like, should I catch it or drop it? And he caught it. But yeah, it's just funny.
Oh, that's funny. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, that is one thing you do. You remember, and mine was kind of weird because in college, what a lot of people don't realize is all my stats. I only played 27 games in college because I broke my ankle my senior year, and so I was out the last 3 games.
Okay.
I didn't play my first 2 years there. I just ran track. I didn't play football. And so the first year I didn't even start, because one of the wide receivers' dad was a big donor. so I had to casually work my way into that starting line. So I started maybe 7 games, in that year. And then, the other 2, I made full seasons. But yeah, so my stats were like for 3 years instead of 4.
Yeah.
Now I know scouts and stuff, they don't make it, they're all over the place now. I know teams have tons of scouts that make it out. While you were at college, Brad, and you were drafted, was there any Buffalo Bills scout out there to watch any of your games, or did they contact you before drafting you, or was it a surprise when Buffalo grabbed you?
Well, the interesting thing is it was a surprise. They were there. I think I had back then, I can't even remember how many actual teams there were, but I think I had all but like 4 or 5 teams that actually came to Anderson and worked me out, and all that. And Buffalo was, of course, one of them.
Okay.
But I never got any calls. Now, what's funny is my mom, she just moved. My dad passed away. She moved, and so she was sending me a bunch of stuff that she had kept that I hadn't seen, and it was letters from teams asking me who my agent was, wishing me the best in the upcoming draft. I had some from the Pittsburgh Steelers, some from the Chargers. So there's a bunch of letters that she had saved that I still have that I go back to. But back then, the draft was only on TV for like the first round.
Yeah.
Then you had to listen to it like on the radio or whatever. So, you did, and then you couldn't even find it. So when I was sitting there, waiting to be called, I didn't even know what round they were in. I didn't even know if it was still going on. It was a total surprise, but a blessing all the same. And was thrilled to death when I got that call.
Nice.
And they didn't have caller ID either, did they?
No, no, and it was still the phone. I mean, the phone was still attached to the wall, believe it or not.
Right.
And I was at my brother's house, and I gave you had to give all the teams what number you could be reached at.
Right.
And so I gave them my brother's number, and a lot of my cousins and relatives knew I was there, so the phone would ring, and we're expecting it, and it'd be like, "Hey, did you hear anything yet?" It's like,
Yeah.
"No, don't call." You get your hopes up, and you're thinking it's something else, and it's somebody just calling to see.
Can you imagine that, though? Can you imagine
the
that?
Buffalo
Yeah.
Bills?
Can you imagine they call when someone else calls to get a busy signal, be like, "No, get the other guy."
Yes, yeah, exactly. Get off the phone.
All right. Xander just jumped on Instagram, says, "Pops." What's up, Xander?
Oh, geez. That's the man. He's the man. I call him the man now.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. What else did I want? Oh, a couple of the new things that came out this past week. The Bills are wearing the red helmet, blue jersey, white bottoms for the last game of the season, which is fitting. If anybody knows the history of Buffalo, their very first game ever played in that stadium was against the Jets, their first home game. So it's fitting that they bring the Jets back for the last game. What are you more of a fan of? Do you like the new white helmets, Brad? Did you like the red helmets back in the day? What's your if you were to pick one to be the Bills helmet, what would it be?
I'm sorry, but I'm going with the red.
Don't be sorry.
I'm just partial to the red, man. I love the red helmet.
Yeah.
White to me is just so generic. I mean, they all can have a white helmet, but that red was Buffalo red, man, and I love it. My Jeep's red. I mean, I got my favorite cars are red, so
Brad goes, "Can you do Buffalo Bills red?" They're like, "Sorry,
Yeah.
sir,
I need to get a wrap on the things. What I need.
The nostalgia of that red helmet. I tell you what, whenever I see it, it's just the fact it was blue stripe, white stripes, and that buffalo just filled that side of that helmet so big and nice, and like it just throws me back. And whenever I see that helmet, you do get that nostalgia feeling. Like, God, that was a good time. So
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
I love the red too. I love the red too.
You want to know what's going to put Bills fans over the top, and I think they should do this. And Brandon Bean and company, I know you're watching the show tonight, and now we're going to run a little late. If that last game, if these Buffalo Bills show up with the red helmet, blue jersey, and white pants, and that damn end zone says Bills with a big old red end zone, I will lose my mind.
Yeah, go back.
Have that end zone be red, and then obviously the red helmet in the middle of the field. That'll take us back. That'll win, lose, or draw. I don't care what happens that game. That's going to make it so you send the stadium off the right way. That'll give me the goosebumps.
So maintenance guys, if the Bills have already clinched the playoff spot, you're not going to see our starters out there. If you're going to make up for that, red end zone with a big Buffalo helmet in the middle. That's going to make up for it. I know they're listening.
Oh, hell yeah. And then the other option, apparently, Brad, they're throwing out the Buffalo standing Buffalo with the white helmet will be present for 2 games. Jared's got it right there. That'll be the helmet played for 2 games.
Okay.
And then against the Patriots, they are having a rivalry, custom jersey. We saw footage of the Bills looking at it and being shocked by it at one point. I think Dawkins said, "I like how it blings there," or something like that. What is your guess? I just want to guess of what kind of rivalry. Keep in mind it's rivalry, so it's against the Patriots. What kind of what
Say
goes through your
winter's
mind
coming.
when you think of a jersey scheme? What goes through your mind?
Man, maybe rival. Maybe it's one solid color all the way through. I don't know. Maybe it's all the way down helmet, shirt, and pants all the same. But I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm kind of excited about it.
Jared, what's your take?
I'm hoping they go back to the inaugural 60 season when they had those right there. Yep. I'm hoping it's something like that with a little modern pearl finish and a little bling on the jersey, maybe even the pants. That would be awesome right there.
See, that's what I was thinking too. I'm thinking 1960 matches winter is coming. So I see that kind of thing working with that jersey type,
Yeah,
with that whole winter is coming thing. I think that'd be sweet. I think the gray and that blue will be fitting for that one game for sure.
So I don't know. If you go back to a couple of seasons, I think I mentioned this. When they do that blue and gray, a lot of people think it's because Ralph Wilson's playing homage to the Detroit Lions, where he came from originally. But the actual fact is they're paying homage to the 1940s Buffalo Bisons that were the blue and the silver, and they had the old Michigan State type helmet, or Michigan University. So they had the front and the claws that go back. That's where that silver and blue comes from, is the 1948-49 Buffalo Bison. The community voted on it and changed it to the Buffalo Bills.
Here we go, folks. We're in overtime.
So anytime we go over 9:30, we hit the overtime button, which is good because we're finishing up here. Definitely wanted your guys' take on those helmets and all that good stuff. I want to end tonight, and Brad, thanks for joining us. Guys, if you're joining in late or whatever and you haven't left a comment yet, leave a comment, blue and red. You will be entered to win tickets to the return of the blue and red practice on this Friday. We will gather up the names, spin the Fandemonium Wheel of Destiny tomorrow, find out the winner, and we'll get you in contact with Dr. Bruce because he's the one with the tickets. Thank you, Dr. Bruce, for donating them. It's a wonderful thing. You guys will have a lot of fun there, but we'll spin that tomorrow. Leave a comment, blue and red, if you want to enter for that last minute. Brad, we always end the show with final thoughts. I do want to throw this in there to kind of help you guys with your final thought. With this being the last season that the Buffalo Bills are playing at Ralph, Rich, Highmark, New Era, Buffalo Stadium, all the names. What is your favorite moment, Brad, at that stadium? What's your favorite memory?
Oh man. You're making me go way back now and start. There's just so many fun times that you have with your teammates. I would say probably one of the highlights was being on the field with James Lofton when he broke the receiving record. Probably one of my, and being able to walk over and shake his hand right there on the field when it happened. And, what a great moment to share with him. And, so that was probably one of them. The other one was for me personally was probably just a nice kickoff return I had against the Rams, just getting the crowd pumped up, and we got the videos of that still, and I still watch it even occasionally now just to get hyped up a little bit. But and I'm sad about, and I call it Ralph Stadium because that's just the way I remember it, but sad that it's gone. But I know it's probably time, and maybe past time, for a new stadium. Excited for these guys to break into a new one. I guess 26 next year. Is that right?
Yep.
This will be it. So it should be ready then. It's looking nice. I keep tabs on watching it go up in the construction. So I'm excited to get up there this year and see a game in the old one, and then next year getting up there and seeing one in the new stadium.
Beautiful. Jared, you're up.
Let us know when you're coming up to that game.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm always going to remember as a Ralph. Just pay honors to Ralph Wilson. So I call it Ralph. My favorite memory is going to go back to 1993. Mom and Dad took us to our first Buffalo Bills football game ever. We're sitting in the end zone. Bills versus Pittsburgh Steelers. Derek Holmes, I think, scored a touchdown right in front of me. But the memory that I'm always going to remember, and it's funny how the universe works, because it all came in full circle. I was waiting in line. Dad says, "You want to hang out and see if we could see some players?" I remember Kevin Green, big Kevin Green, Hall of Famer, came out. He was with the Steelers then, and I knew who he was. Scott and I were collecting football cards at the time. We knew everybody by number. And I said, "Kevin Green, can I get an autograph?" He was nice, but he said, "You're wearing the wrong colors, kid." Right? So I was like disappointed and stuff. But right behind him is Mark Maddox. He comes up and he says, "I'll sign your hat, kid." And he signed my hat. And we still have that hat today. And 25 years later, Brad, I don't know if you know, but he's a good friend of ours, and he's on the show all the time, and it's like full circle. And so when we got word that we had a connection to get Brad or Mark on, it was like, oh my God, I remember he was the first guy to ever sign something, and the nicest guy in the world. So
Absolutely.
I'll always hold that memory with me. Bills versus Pittsburgh, Mark Maddox signed my hat. And now we have a relationship with Mark Maddox, and he's such a great guy. Yep, that's the memory.
Awesome.
Yep.
Which we're gonna bring this full circle, Jared. You're talking about Mark Maddox. We got Brad Lamb on the 24/7 Buff Animal K-Gun Report. Brad, guys, not only is he a guest on the show, but for our regular season Rager that we will be hosting September 6th at Reinvention Brewing, Brad is going to sign this awesome thing. That is awesome. I'm telling you, the more I look at it, the more I just want to keep it. I got my finger. But it comes full circle, like you said, Jared. We do. It's our 5th annual. We have run the regular season Rager for the last 5 years, the last 4 years at Reinvention Brewing. We do raise money for Mark Maddox's Help One Foundation. As you guys know, the guests that we have on our show, we absolutely adore, and we cherish every moment we've had with them, and we have them on for a reason, because they are like-minded people. They love the sport of football, but they're family men, and they are guys that love to have the conversation. So that's why we have who we have on our show. Brad, we appreciate you very much. We've had you on the show more than once for a reason. Your presence, you're a family man. You like to talk Bills football. Keep it real with a bunch of fans that are just fan first perspective fans, and it's cool just to kick it back with you guys and talk Bills football. But yeah, we love to raise money. We have the opportunity. We have the platform. We love to raise money for the Help One Foundation. So the 5th annual regular season Rager, September 6th. It's all over our social media. So don't be afraid to go there. Check it out. All the information's there. And it's a beautiful thing. So thank you to the fans that tune in every week, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m., the K-Gun Report, to talk Bills football with us. We love you guys very much. Brad, again, thank you. I can't express how much we appreciate you.
I would like to say something to the fans as well, and thank you guys, because what you guys and the fans probably don't realize is giving us an opportunity to relive some of our days. We enjoy that too. And so all the guests that you have on your program, I'm sure they're honored to be able to be on here and just to get a chance and an opportunity to hopefully give back a little bit, let our fans know how much we love them and appreciate them as well. And, what we can do to try to give back a little bit, is we're always happy to do that. I know I am, and I know Mark is especially as well. So, we appreciate it. So let me say thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Those are kind words. Thank you very much and appreciate you. We always end it by saying, love you guys. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
And dancing in the street. The clapping out coast with a desert of defeat. Old man is born in a tired dance. Workers seek stars and a priest is the sky. And I said